Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Kalina Yankova, a violinist, educator and entrepreneur, and this is my educational platform where I share insights, techniques and nuances about violin playing. In today's video, I'm going to talk about spiccato. Let's begin with the definition. Spiccato, from Italian spiccare, means to separate. In violin playing, it refers to a controlled bouncing bow stroke that produce short, crisp and articulated notes. It's considered to be slow bouncing bow. Achieving a refined spiccato depends on a few key elements. The first element is the bow placement. Place the bow near the balance point, usually around the lower third part of the bow. This will allow the bow to bounce naturally. It's where it's supposed to bounce. A second is to have a relaxation. The grip must be very relaxed because the tension will kill the bounce. Bow angle is very important, so try to slightly tilt the stick of the bow towards your left hand, and this subtle shift influences the quality and the control of the bounce. Let me show you how I do spiccato. Start by placing the bow gently on the string and then lift it slightly up while remaining very close to the string. A spiccato is a motion that starts from the air and ends on the string. But just for the demonstration, I wanted this to start on the string, and that's okay in the beginning. As you progress, draw the bow with a slight attack and then let the bow accelerate. And eventually this motion will transform to the other bow technique called sautillé. And now let's try to do it faster. At faster tempos, the motion becomes more self-controlled and driven by the properties of the bow. The transitions from spiccato to sautillé happens when the bow is moved closer to the middle. This is where it has its natural bounce. Also remember, for spiccato, you should be using only your forearm and not the whole arm. That will never produce spiccato. Let's break it down with a few targeted exercises. We can start with ricochet drops. So you drop the bow and allow it to bounce freely, and that helps to develop a sense of the bow's natural spring. So you choose the middle of the bow and just basically throw it. Next is to try to play collet strokes. Use your fingers to create a short and precise strokes, and think of this as a building of your bow agility. For collet, I'm using the lower part of the bow where I can have more control. So make sure that you are there and use all of the hair. Next is to alternate between spiccato and détaché, and that will change your control and adaptability. So it's essential for a fluid transition in the music repertoire. So the first exercise we can do is to play four notes on D, détaché, and then 4 notes spiccato. And we stop in between. Stop. Stop. Next exercise is to do shorter break. can now also try to do it in a faster tempo. That will be your next step. Let's take this step even further and integrate string crossing. A great etude for that is Kreutzer number 8. So the string crossing begins on the last note of the old string. So when you play, for instance, on a G sharp from a Kreutzer etude, your upper arm should already move to the next string before the note change. I now demonstrate this movement by making a small break before I go to the next string. In exercise, you can play only 2 notes, but still stop a little bit in between the string crossing. And the last can be exactly as printed. You can also try this additional exercise. Play 6 Détaché strokes, followed by 6 Spiccato strokes, similar to the exercise we did before. Pause briefly before each bow change. This will develop control, articulation, and timing. Another very important point as you are progressing in your spiccato is the sounding point of the spiccato. On higher strings and in higher positions, move the bow closer to the bridge for better projection of the sound. On the lower strings, like D and G, and the lower positions, stay closer to the fingerboard, and that will remain the sound more warm and clear. I will demonstrate this by playing a A major scale. So I'll start closer to the bridge as I am on the G string. And now move slightly to the fingerboard. This is all for today's lesson on spiccato. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment with your questions or progress. Stay curious, stay inspired, and I will see you in my next video. Happy practicing!